Hello, beautiful people. I am back with another story. This one's about trust, regret, and how one wrong assumption can change everything. I left my wife because I thought she was cheating. She became a heroin addict. I found out she never cheated. Disclaimer: I have always been an emotional, stupid, dumbass wrecking ball of a person. I wish I could say this was out of the norm. I've been in therapy since I was 11 years old. I met my wife in 2005 in a nightclub in Lower Manhattan, and she was an amazing person, and we connected right away. We dated, then got married in 2007. I was 23, she was 25, but we were in love, and to us, it didn't really matter. We actually had a good marriage, and I loved her, and she loved me. I was shocked at how much we got along for so many years. Meanwhile, most people in relationships started to hate me after like 3 months. She still adored me after 7 years. But leave it up to me to screw that up completely. In 2014, I had suspicions she was cheating on me. Not strong suspicions, but she had a coworker who she was friends with who was, well, really attractive. I just thought, why be friends with this guy? She didn't often make friends with her coworkers. Why this guy specifically? Because he was hot? She was secretive about him, which made me way more suspicious. I remember one day she told me that she had a secret about him, which she would eventually tell me. I probably should have listened and understood what she said more. The hints she were dropping seem really obvious in retrospect. I didn't get any of her hints. For a bit, she got defensive over her phone. That was when I sort of began really suspecting things. One day I checked her phone, and all I saw was him texting her saying he really needs to speak to her right now, like a bunch of texts. Also texts about sort of inappropriate sex stuff, but it was really the "I need to see you now" texts, which threw me off. I didn't even confront her. That's the worst part. I just left and went to New Mexico to go stay with my parents. I was so sure she cheated on me. Nothing could convince me otherwise. I was so hurt that I became suicidal for a tiny bit. Then I went to therapy and got better. But I blocked her in every possible way I could. She had no idea why I left. My therapist kept telling me to contact her. I never listened. I actually lied to my therapist and said I did. There were some times where she called my parents and I talked to her and just said that I knew she was cheating, and that I couldn't be with her, and that was that. And then I just hung up. It was too horrible and emotional, and I just wanted to put it all behind me somehow. I wanted to act as if it never happened. I didn't have the balls to deal with it. I didn't file divorce papers at that time. I never explained anything further than that. I just hung up. In 2015, I painfully reconnected with her. I never told her why I left. I felt horrible, but I also felt angry at her for cheating. I never wanted to know who she cheated on me with or what the situation was. I just wanted her out of my life. But when I finally connected with her, I just found an entirely new person. She was in and out of rehab. She was a pill addict. She said it started after I had left her, that she had a lot of pills left over from a surgery she had. She had a knee surgery in 2013 and started taking them a lot to deal with the pain of me leaving her. Then she connected with her friend who started selling pills to her. Hey, sorry to break the flow for a sec, but if you're enjoying the story so far, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you more awesome tales. Let's continue the story. Anyways, after a bit more of talking with her online over quite a few weeks, I eventually told her the situation as to why I thought she cheated. It was sort of this unspoken thing beforehand. I told her I didn't want her to bring it up. Then I just asked her, straight up, and she told me that was her coworker, and he was gay. She hung out with him a lot, and he would often call her and text her to come over so they could talk about his problems. I checked his Facebook. He came out officially as gay in 2014. Before that, he was in the closet. Also, the inappropriate sex stuff they were talking about suddenly made so much sense. They were comparing the way women and men have sex to the way men have sex with men. But it didn't seem obvious by the texts I read. It just kind of sounded like they were planning to do anal with each other. In retrospect, it seems painfully obvious, but at the time it wasn't. I just wish I didn't freak out and leave. I think if I even mentioned his name, it would have clicked for her, and she would have told me it was just a misunderstanding. but she had zero idea why I suspected her of cheating. I left my wife, never spoke to her again, and went halfway across the country over a misspoken series of texts that I read because I was a sneaky, selfish husband and was too emotional to even ask my wife what the problem was. I just left. I never asked her to clarify anything. She would go on to become a heroin addict from a pill addict. She posts sometimes about how she is 3 weeks sober, but it's never longer than that. I am basically an alcoholic and live near my parents in Albuquerque. I have zero interest in finding a girlfriend. Instead, I just have a bunch of meaningless one-night stands when I go out on weekends. I am almost always hammered and coked or Adderalled up when I go out on weekends. I sort of have friends, but not really. They're just a bunch of alcoholics and party people in the area who I link up with on weekends. I can't be away from my parents now. They're the only people I enjoy being around. I am just an emotionally fragile mess who feels like they completely ruined someone's life over something so stupid. I know it sounds stupid, but for the past few years my parents are the only friends I have and the only people I really see, besides the people at my job and the women I sleep with, who I never make connections with. I cannot help but think I will literally never get over this. The fact that I ruined her life over this. I go to therapy, and it helps, but not enough. I still sometimes talk to her. We officially got divorced, nothing split, in 2017. She is a heroin addict, and I am horribly depressed, so we have some relations, but I can't help but think that I ruined her life far, far more than I ruined mine. And the worst part is, the only reason I am in pain is because I ruined her life. I binge-watched all of BoJack Horseman and connected with his character a lot. I feel like he inspired me to make this post. This story isn't just about regret, it's about the importance of communication, trust, and understanding in relationships. It's a reminder that assumptions can destroy, but honesty and vulnerability can save. If you've ever made a mistake that feels unforgivable, know you're not alone. We're all flawed, and we're all trying to navigate this messy, complicated thing called life. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And remember, be kind to yourself and to others. You never know how much your words or your silence can change someone's life. Alright, next move on to the next one. This is a really wholesome feel-good story. Today I was in a long line for the checkout. I live in Florida, and the lines are long with this hurricane on the way. There was a guy in front of us holding the line up. I asked my wife what was going on to stall the line. She said, "It looks like this guy had his card declined." She points to the guy, he was 2 ahead of us. At this time, the manager came out and voided the transaction. The guy was with his daughter, approximately 10 years old. His clothes were a little tight and had stains on them. His daughter was dressed like her clothes came from Walmart or a thrift shop. I'm not judging, just trying to create the actual scene. The guy was staring at his phone, very embarrassed and frustrated. I told my wife we had to pay for his food without a thought, wondering how to do this without bringing more attention to the guy, or to us. I jump out of line and ask the manager what the issue was with the guy, because I would pay for his food if his card was declined. She told me she wasn't sure what the issue, but it was card-related. At this time people start looking, and I was trying not to create attention. Now, I don't care what the reason is, because they're obviously not giving the guy the food. So the guy and his daughter started walking out of the store empty. I call out to the guy from behind, trying to stop him. Hey buddy, excuse me. Come on back in here, let me help you." He looks at me confused. I was watching the whole time. He comes back in and the employees are taking his cart to reshelf the food he tried to buy. I tell the customer service I'll pay for his food. I didn't even know how much it was, didn't matter. I pay the bill. It was only about $60. The guy tries to hand me a little cash. Maybe he's a little embarrassed. I smile and shake his hand, tell him no way. He hugs me. He hugged me. My wife runs out of the store crying. I'm not telling this story to brag or for any other reason, except to explain my view on this. I believe that I had no choice but to pay for his groceries. I'm in a position to do it, and I feel that it is our duty to help each other in this life when given the chance. We rarely have opportunities in life to assist our fellow humans, resulting in a direct positive impact that we can feel. It matters not the cost. Yes, I know there are a lot of charities to which one can donate, but you rarely feel the impact of your donation. There is usually high overhead and a fraction of your donation actually goes to help. I feel incredibly sad that people suffer, can't buy food, etc. I feel incredibly fortunate for my life. Looking back, I wish I had done more. I would have bought him some gift cards for the food store. I think sometimes we are caught up in our own lives and don't realize that people standing right next to us are struggling, suffering. I will be on the lookout to help less fortunate people more often, and I will be less absorbed in my own life, which will give me this opportunity.